When I say Scotland's oil boom, straight away you think of helicopter buses to the North Sea derricks and the transformation of Aberdeen. But no, I'm talking about the oil boom where Scotland led the world. When Scotland was the world's Saudi Arabia. If you're interested in the people, places and events in Scottish history, then click the subscribe button at the bottom right of the screen. In the meantime, let me tell you the story. For years, as I've driven towards Edinburgh from Stirling, I've seen these great red mounds by the motorway. They always seemed like sand dunes, but now they're changing. They look greener now, more like, well, just Scottish hills. But as grass and flora grow, they cover over the history of a time when Scotland was the pioneer and provider of oil to the world. It's a story of Scottish ingenuity, of improvement, of hard living, social struggle, environmental destruction and renewal. And I'm going to follow it all on a wonderful walking and cycling path through West Lothian. This is James Young House. This is James Young Avenue. This is James Young High Street. This is James Young. Are you starting to see a pattern? This is one of the dunes in the industrial desert James Young created that are gradually greening into a new oasis. So this is Ammon Park. It's a good place to start the story. So we've established James Young's hugely significant to West Lothian. The question is, why? Now the story of an intelligent and enterprising young Scot from a relatively modest family of cabinet makers who apprentices with his dad, but then takes an interest in science and starts making experimental stuff for one of the plethora of Scotland's eminent Victorian scientists, then goes on with that scientist to London, building his own reputation on the way. That's been told 5 million times before. What did he do after that, I hear you ask? Well, first of all, let's remember that in the 1830s and 40s, if you wanted to light your house, you probably ended up smelling of fish. Well, technically a whale's a mammal, but the point is that people burn whale oil or other animal fats in lamps to light their houses. In fact, the reason there were no vegetarians in the Victorian era was because so many of them died in household accidents tripping over in the dark. Enter James Young, presumably carrying a paraffin candle. But this time he was working as a technical guy in coal mining, and once in a coal seam he noticed the roof was bleeding. It wasn't blood, it was oil seeping out from the coal. Oil was becoming more and more necessary as a lubricant in steam engines or to extract paraffin. But at that time, there was very little oil to be had in the world and nothing on an industrial scale. But if oil gradually seeps out from coal naturally, then presumably you can engineer it to come out more quickly. James Young was effectively the world's first chemical engineer. Young developed a system to heat coal and shale at a fixed pressure to extract oil. This was revolutionary. His first works were in Bathgate, and then when the coal ran out there, he moved 6 miles down the road to Adderwell. That transformed this whole area in a mining and industrial powerhouse. The world's first mass production of oil was in Scotland. The world's first oil refining and chemical byproduct fabrication was here in West Lothian. James Young became known as James Paraffin Young. Vegetarians could light their house with a clear conscience and nobody needed to smell a fish. Mammals. Actually, I remember paraffin lamps in our house when I was a kid. We used to carry one of them when we went up to the garden path to use the toilet. Tell me in the comment section if you've ever
had to go up the garden to do a poo. Oh yeah.
Used a paraffin lamp. Now, I say this transformed the area, and it did. There was a period before the drilling for black gold when West Lothian was the biggest oil producer in the world, and production here would continue into the 20th century, completely changing the area. You can follow this transformation in a thing called the Shale Trail. It's a modern walking and cycling path that takes you through West Lothian to tell the story of that era. Now, in the park today, kids can play in this zip wire, but if you'd been here back then behind you, you would have seen a huge aerial cable bucket lift taking shale mined in Deadridge all the way over the hill to Oak Bank. Now, obviously it's not there now, because now the Shale Trail goes through green space that wouldn't have been nearly as green back then. But I want to take you to the other end of the trail to show you a really intriguing part of that transformation. Now, you're probably aware of the Five Sisters of Kintail Mountains in the Highlands. Behind me are the Five Sisters here in West Lothian. Every year, as nature takes over, they look more like an amazing symmetrical artwork of Mother Nature's hand. But when West Lothian was the heart of the world's oil industry, shale was mined here and then it was processed in furnaces. After that, the oil was distilled off to make paraffin candles, lubricants and all kinds of stuff. But we were left with the waste unused shale tipped into these ever-growing huge shale bins. Now, as time went on, things became more mechanised and automated, and in 1941 they built the Westwood Oil Works here. The waste shale that came out of the bottom of the retort furnaces went by conveyor belt into self-tipping buckets that ran up the bins here, but the direction that they dumped their waste depended on what direction the wind was blowing. And apparently that's what gave us a five-fingered natural wonder that started as an unnatural waste tip. What's more, this Westwood estate, bought over by the oil company, used to contain a country house, imaginatively named Westwood House. Now, it belonged to a retired military officer returned from India. And when he and his wife died, it was divided up into flats. Of course, when the oil company took over, they had no use for the house. They did need land to dump the shale waste. And gradually, bucket after bucket, tip after tip, the house, its contents, and even the car in the garage were submerged underneath the growing bin. And they're still under the Five Sisters today. I can just imagine one day in the future, archaeologists will dig the hills that have formed here, and just like Sutton Hoo, the Five Sisters will reveal buried treasure destined to accompany some elite warrior king to the afterlife in his automotive chariot. Westerwood wasn't the only controversial housing. Near to the railway foot crossing at Northfield Cottages, they've replaced what was called Happy Land. Now, I have no idea how happy it was in those days. Houses built and owned by the oil companies. You might describe them as minimalist. Why would Young's Mineral Oil Company pay for more luxury than was essential? Spartan houses, standpipe in the street, communal dry toilets, and no need for wash houses or sculleries. I should just about do it. Of course, the folk who lived in these houses could little complain. If your family had been cleared from the Highlands or fled famine in Ireland, you made do with what you could. And let's face it, you weren't working underground mining shale or overground transporting the piping hot byproducts because of a cornucopia of employment choices. And if you lost the employment with the oil company, you lost the home that you did have. These hard-working people who became West Lothian bring us to West Calder's Union Square and this clock, which is still in the same place where it used to sit atop a grand building here. You see, if you worked for the oil company, you lived in an oil company house, and you probably shopped in an oil company shop. But in 1875, 40 shale miners set up a cooperative shop so that the workers didn't have to buy overpriced goods from the company owners. And this co-op grew into one of the most successful businesses in West Lothian, branching out in other West Lothian towns and enterprises. The co-op went on to provide housing better than the oil company housing at Happy Land, supported evening classes to encourage education and training, and an ambulance service dealing with disasters locally. Walking the Shale Trail gives us stories of individual enterprise and ingenuity delivering technological solutions, but it also reminds us of the need for community cohesion and preservation in the face of the social inequity that these advances can bring. Many of the political struggles in the 20th century seem to be between which of these two competing forces had the ascendancy. But climbing the Five Sisters Industrial Bing now reminds me that whatever our struggles and choices today, eventually nature wins out. There's another video about West Lothian coming up on screen now. In the meantime, Hami and Dochas can be Lama alive. Cheerio and Drasta.